Welcome back. The organization Non-Traditional Employment for Women, referred to as NEW, empowers and equips women with fulfilling careers in skilled construction, utility, and maintenance trades. This initiative enables women to achieve economic independence and build a secure future for themselves and their families. Vice President of Programs Katrice Thomas joins me to discuss. Katrice, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I gave a little bit away, but can you tell us a little bit more about NEW NYC?
Sure. So, as you said, NEW has been in existence since 1978, and we are primarily focused on serving women, non-binary, and trans individuals with pre-apprenticeships for entry into the construction trades in New York City. So we do the pre-apprenticeship training, and that leads into employment in the career in trades.
Now, why was it important to, I'm assuming that initially started out as, finding employment for women, but it, was expanded to people who are non-binary. Why was it important to specifically focus on these genders?
So I think most people know that careers in the trades are typically a male-dominated field. And what we want to do is just shed some light on the fact that women are interested and can compete for these careers. And honestly, careers in the trades are the only opportunity that a lot of women have to, within 5 years or less, with only a high school diploma or GED, be able to earn up to $100,000. So it really is important that women, in some cases that are heads of the households, have these opportunities as well.
Now, as you mentioned, trade careers are usually in male-dominated spaces. What are some of the challenges people who don't identify as male face in this regard?
I think the list is long. I think we can start off with childcare being one of them. So as the primary caregivers, oftentimes you have women who are trying to go back out into careers and finding it challenging to not only find childcare that they're comfortable with, but also when you talk about the skilled trades, find childcare that is open very early in the morning, very late at night, and the in-between and after care is also challenging.
Now, as mentioned, the organization has been around since 1978, which is a very long time. How has the company evolved to kind of meet the changing expectations of women?
So I think not only has the organization been around for a long time, but we sort of lived through a pandemic such as everyone else did, and it just made it even more challenging. But we are here, which just shows the resilience of women and the resilience of the organization. I think the way that it's evolved is in trying to be a better partner with the trades and some of the other organizations that are hiring women into these non-traditional employment opportunities. So making sure that we're actually understanding what their needs are, barring gender or race or anything else that we actually shouldn't be talking about. We want to make sure that the opportunity is there for people who are qualified and interested.
Now, what are some of the job opportunities available when we're talking about trade?
Sure. So the three most, I would say, sought after careers that people go into after they graduate from NEW are plumbers, carpenters, and electricians. And it is partially because that we focus a little bit more on those trades during our pre-apprenticeship program. However, we have women who are engineers, we have women who are pipe fitters, and so on. So there's no career that a woman is not able to go into, but we are trying to give women a little bit more exposure because you don't know what you don't know. So how do you know that you want to be the one to climb the tallest building and, fit the windows or be able to, install the electrical wiring if no one has ever exposed you to that?
Now, with that being said, what is your method when matching women to specific job areas that would be right for them?
It starts in the beginning. So you know how sometimes people say, like, there's these tests that you can do, like in high school, about like, career matching. So if you're good with your hands, then you should do, certain things. But I think it's even being more creative than that. So like if someone is good with their hands, some people don't think about construction if they're a woman. Maybe they think about like cooking or baking. So like if you think that you want to cook or bake, let's think about the components of that, right? You like to build. You actually like to see something that is nothing turn into something, and that actually is going into construction as well. You want to see a building constructed from the ground up. So it really is trying to spark some interest, figure out where the match is in terms of where people are passionate, and then bridge the gap between that and what kind of employment they want to go into.
Now, I really love that the organization kind of challenges the traditional ideas that we have on what's expected of women to kind of take on. You know, just in this journey, have you met anyone who maybe initially thought, oh, this isn't for me, you know, I don't know if I can do this, maybe it's a little bit intimidating, and how has that, maybe that student has grown or evolved, you know, their thinking in regard to like what they are able to do as a woman?
I would say most people that come to the organization are at some level of apprehension. We go out to career fairs and, you know, opportunities to engage with the community. And oftentimes we are the table that I can see far in the back, someone sort of looking at us, but not wanting to come over, right? So it's like, you know, wondering what's on that person's mind, and sometimes just like watching them and stalking them a little bit until they come over and like encouraging them to come. But oftentimes the conversation is, I've never done this before. I wasn't going to come over here because I've never done this before. And it's like, well, because we're a training, there's a lot of things you've never done before, right? Let's go through the list of things that you've never done before. Like, have you ever jumped out of a plane? Have you ever? And then they're like, no, no, no. Okay, well, would you do some of those things if you were in a comfortable space and you had someone that you trusted to walk you through that? And then, you know, they start to warm up, and then it's like, well, that's for men. And it's like, says who?
Right.
And then you see that it changes a little bit. And I tell some stories about, like, you know, we serve between 200 and 250 women a year, and they go through and they get jobs and like they're successful, and they come back and they'll talk to you in the class and they'll make sure that they are your biggest cheerleaders. And then you start to see people like, well, I'll go, but, and then you hear the conditions, right? I'll go, but it has to be like this time or that time, or I have to have childcare. And then I'm like, well, wait, the first step is that you actually come in and hear more about it. Don't listen to me, right? Like, listen to the staff, listen to the individuals who are doing the work. And actually, I want you to feel like it's a good fit for you. If it is, then everything else will fall into place, because we do have supportive services. So it's actually a really well-rounded program, so that if you're ready and you really want to do this, there's actually nothing in your way, because we try to eliminate a lot of those barriers.
And I'm curious to know what, how do you train, or what is the training process like?
So our trainings are 6 to 9 weeks. We have a daytime option, and then we have an evening and weekend option. They both encompass a combination of some hands-on skills, some theory and in-class work, and we make sure that all of the classes are provided with opportunities to either go out and tour real construction sites and or speak to prior graduates who are now in the trades to be able to tell their story, where we're not actually teaching in the class that specific trade.
Now, how could this opportunity be very impactful for women from low income or underserved communities?
It's everything. Like I said earlier, how else do you, with a high school diploma or GED, earn 6 figures and feel good about going home to your family and telling them as you're walking down the street, I built that. I was, you know, a part of that thing. I don't know anywhere else besides, you know, the unionized skilled trades. And it really is it makes a big impact on people's lives, because, you know, you look to the left and you look to the right and there's poverty everywhere, but you are able to sort of bring yourself up and out of that and your family as a result of some of these careers.
And how have you seen this effort make an impact on women specifically from the Bronx, you know, one of the boroughs that struggle the most of all the boroughs in NYC?
So I would say, based on data from last year, about a quarter of the people, a little bit less than a quarter of the individuals who express interest in our program come from the Bronx. So like you said, there's no lack of people, there's no lack of interest, but when you have people who are, you know, struggling with everything that you could imagine, what we want to just do is make sure that we have a safe environment, so that no matter where people are from, no matter what they've experienced, at least when they come in, they have an opportunity to be themselves and to excel.
Now, how do you use this initiative to further expand support to members of the LGBTQ plus community?
So we have received, we didn't used to track whether or not someone identified. And then what happened was that we started to notice, as you get to know people, you hear stories and you identify that, wait a minute, if we're actually saying that we're assisting people with elimination of barriers, then we have to really know who the person is. So through our supportive services department, we make sure that there are community resources, referral resources that we have, people have access to, and that also they can actually just be whoever it is that they want to be. Because when you get onto the work site, everyone is who they showed up to be, but it's hard work. So no one is focusing on who you are or how you present. They are focusing on, do I feel safe enough around you to sort of hang off of the side of the building and risk my life, right? So it doesn't matter, but it matters to these individuals because around this individual are the external factors that are impacting their ability to be successful, and that's where we're able to come in and support. We've received generous funding from the city of New York to support this population, so it's one that is near and dear to our hearts, and we just want to make sure that whoever comes through is able to thrive.
Now, we've definitely moved away a little bit, as women from traditional ideas and gender roles. Do you think society is ready to see more women kind of take on these roles?
I mean, I am. I am. I feel like when it comes to people's abilities to support their family, it is really disappointing that we are still at a time where we're speaking about, like, okay, they may be the right person for the job, but they're Black, but they're a woman. And it just, I don't know what we need to do to get out of that, but we just need to move on. Like at this point, we need to make sure that whoever the right person is, and as long as they're qualified, that they get the same opportunities as anyone else would.
And what impact could this have on younger generation of, girls and people that are non-binary and, from different genders?
So statistics will show that the sooner you reach out to someone and start to plant the seeds of careers and exploration, the more likely they are to go outside of what is quote unquote normal. So we partner with the Department of Education and other nonprofit organizations that are working with girls and young women to do just that. And it actually, our mission is to serve women. However, if someone comes through our program and learns something and then decides that they don't want to go into the trades, it's still a success because you still know something that you didn't know before, and you can rule this out. You can't rule out something that you've never actually tried.
Well, Katrice, I want to thank you so much for joining us and
Thank
really
you.
having this this conversation, because it definitely brought new things to my mind. So once again, thank you for joining us and sharing this with our
Thank you.
community. To learn more about the services this organization offers, please visit their website at new-nyc.org. We've come to the end of our show today. I'd like to thank all of our guests for joining us and you, the viewers, for tuning in. If you miss any part of today's show, you can catch the Recable cast at 5 and 10 p.m. on Optimum Channel 67 and Verizon Fios Channel 33, or watch anytime on the web at BronxNet.org. You can catch a brand new episode of Open with Darren Hymie on Wednesday and with Rena Valentine on Friday. I'm Kibin Alleyne, wishing you and yours safety and wellness. See you next time.